2004. She currently works as a utilities project manager at the Presidio Trust, a federal agency with the primary jurisdictional authority of the Presidio of San Francisco. She is the only civil environmental engineer in the agency managing the water, sanitary, sewer, and storm drain utility infrastructure for the entire Presidio. She is also the primary engineer for the Presidio Water Treatment Plant, the second oldest water treatment plant in California. We are so honored to have her to share about her engineering work and experience to the next generation of aspiring young ladies at the former high school where her interest in science and engineering began. Please welcome Ms. Aguirre.
Good morning, Mercy High School. Morning. Are you guys all ready for your spirit rally today? Yeah. How about prom tonight? You guys excited for prom? So let's get this Earth Day rally started. I think I have a slide. So yeah, thank you. So 15 years ago, I was in the same seats you guys were all in, and I never would have thought I'd be up here one day. So it's really an honor to be here. I want to thank Chloe and Angie for inviting me to come speak today. And I also want to give a special shout out to my mom, who's here. Huge support in my life. One of my mentors from my old job. And actually one of my best friends is here from my days here at Mercy. So I really want to thank them all for the support. And also I know you're out there, Gabriela. So yeah, this is definitely like a full circle to be here, kind of all you. So a bit about me, I was born and raised here in San Francisco. Actually grew up going to all private Catholic schools, including here at Mercy for 4 years. And after graduating from Mercy, I went to UC San Diego, where I got a Bachelor's of Science degree in Environmental Engineering and Urban Studies and Planning. And since I graduated, I've worked on over 50 civil and environmental engineering projects from our local neighborhoods here in San Francisco to remote villages in Fiji. And, can I? Okay. Do I have a clicker, actually? No? Okay. I'll just cue you when it goes to the next slide, okay? Thank you. So first I'm going to start about my beginnings. So the reason I'm here to talk to you all today is environmental stewardship. And next slide. Yeah. So environmental stewardship is something I'm really passionate about because it's not only based on my faith as a Christian, but also it's foundational to my practice as an engineer. And so what I mean by stewardship is, God's created one planet for all of us to live in. And all of us, as stewards of the environment, we are to take care of it, protect it, and use our natural resources wisely in a way that will be sustainable for generations to come. And it's foundational to my practice as a civil and environmental engineer because it's the entire context of where I do my work. The projects I've done are to protect and restore the environment to its natural state, and also to build infrastructure that is serving the quality of life that we live in our communities. So I'm going to share with you all about my journey from being a student here at Mercy to where I'm at now as a steward of the Presidio of San Francisco. And my hope is that my example of how I live out environmental stewardship in my life and in my work will also inspire you all to appreciate, take action, and have hope to overcome the challenges that we all face in stewarding our world. So also pay attention to some of these examples. We're going to do an activity at the end, and it's going to involve some prizes. So, yeah. I'm going to start with the next slide. So this is a picture. So this is a picture of me on my first day of school here in 2000. Same uniform. And I think on that first day, I remember I was just mostly concerned about whether I would make friends. And I didn't have a lot of confidence. But really, I was in your shoes, literally. And I really had no idea I would become an engineer or go to all the places I've been or meet all the amazing people I've met. So a big influence to my years here are some of the teachers. And these are actually photos from our yearbooks. They were black and white. And so in the upper left, there's Mr. Schaefer, and we did like a legacy club together. I don't know where Mr. Schaefer is, but oh hey, Mr. Schaefer. Mr. Schaefer taught me how to write, and that's a skill that is so important, not just going through college, but also as a professional, and also just your regular life. Such a help. There's Miss Kerrigan in the lower right. And I have to give a shout out to Miss Kerrigan because she introduced me to physics. And physics is something that I definitely went into doing a lot more of studying as an engineer in college. So really, but it started here at Mercy. I don't know if it's very clear here, but this is a photo of Green Team with Mr. McGarry. We were the first environmental club here at Mercy, and back at that time, we were introducing the composting program, and we were going, so as part of that, we were going to homerooms, telling all of our classmates and teachers about what goes into each of the different colored bins, especially the new green bin, and it was actually a lot of hands-on work as well, because I think we had to clean out those bins, the green bins ourselves at the end of the day. And Mr. McGarry did a lot of that work. So thanks, Mr. McGarry. I think that passion and hard work paid off. It feels full circle to be here talking about Earth Day as from being part of that environmental club. So this is my graduation picture, and I have to say that my years here at Mercy were just so formative. I was able to grow and to thrive here in this supportive community, and friends I've made here, they're friends to this day, and I think my years here really did set me up well for the adventures I would have ahead. So an experience I did in college was an internship to work in development work in the slums of Brazil. And so they're called favelas. And some of these pictures show some of the conditions that the residents in those neighborhoods live in. And a big thing that struck me was the sewage that was just all over the streets. They didn't have that basic infrastructure to contain it. So one thing that the engineers were doing, the company I was working for, they would actually, to help it, they would install these concrete channels to the right to at least contain it. But can you imagine if right outside your door, like the little girl is standing right there, you have a river of sewage. The smell was just overwhelming. And I remember just seeing that, it made me realize how much we have here. We are so privileged to have like the infrastructure that we don't have to worry about sewage in the streets. And also seeing this, I recognize that poorest in the world have to often deal with the worst living conditions. And it has a lot to do with the built environment. Next slide. Next. Can you go to the next slide, please? So this is a home, one of the homes in those areas. And this was a home for a family of 9, 6 kids and 3 adults. And so there's so much poverty there. It was actually a partnership between social workers and engineers to go out into these neighborhoods to help these people. Because really, improving the built environment and meeting their socioeconomic needs go hand in hand. There's that next. Okay, so we would be providing the technical oversight and the materials so that these local residents from this home can live in one of those made out of concrete masonry blocks, and they would actually be building it themselves. So in that process, they would also be gaining skills in construction. So not only was it we were helping them in an oversight kind of way, we were also working with them to improve and stabilize their homes. And so something that we can think about here, when you guys do your community service hours, I know you have to do 100, there's opportunities to reach out to the community around us, especially those with the most needs. Think of our homeless population. Often the people who are the most disadvantaged have the worst environment. They're living in the worst environment. Next slide. So another thing I did, I volunteered with Engineers Without Borders, and we went to some remote villages in Fiji. And the goal of our work there was to provide clean drinking water for 3 villages. And the way we did that was to install a new distribution system, and also we installed filters for them to be able to have clean water. And this is a photo of us with the kids. And I highlight the kids because the kids are the most vulnerable when it comes to the physical health effects of unsafe water. Being close up with them firsthand, I was able to see that they had some skin rashes or bloated bellies, and a lot of them had diarrhea. So just seeing that was heartbreaking. It was really rewarding to be able to help meet their needs and improve their health. Next slide. So how do we know the water was contaminated? Well, chemistry. So we took samples of some of the water that was being sent to these villages, and we put an additive in the solution. And if it changed color or grew cloudy, we knew there was harmful bacteria in it. So you can see here, this is just a snapshot of some of the samples that we took. And a lot of them are really dark, or pinkish, or even dark pink color, or cloudy. So that was evidence that the water was not clean. So the way that we helped fix that was to install these filters. So these are plastic tanks that are filled with sand from the beach nearby and gravel from the river nearby. So these are also just locally sourced materials that was available. And we had the water come in from the top, and it would be filtered by gravity down so that from the bottom, you can get clean water. And we put in several of these for these villages. And so something to think about as you're, drinking your water. Which do you think is the more healthy or more environmentally sustainable way to have water? Bottled water, or you have your reusable bottle that's from filtered water. What's also ironic is that this is Fiji water. this water is often distributed out, like they export it to other countries. We actually have a lot of poverty issues in Fiji, and they're not. Yeah, so something that I recognize is that they weren't necessarily providing clean water for their own villages, but we were able to help in that area through EWP. Next slide. So the first big project I did in San Francisco was to do environmental cleanup, or to do basically a big beach cleanup at Hunters Point Shipyard. And the beach that you see to my left, or to the right over there, it's across from Candlestick, well, where Candlestick used to be. And the length of this section of beach that we were cleaning was maybe from like, if you were to compare it to Ocean Beach, like from the zoo to Rivera. And Hunters Point used to be a military base. And back in the day, they had dumped a lot of trash and also like chemicals, oils. There was a lot of hazardous wastes that were just dumped into this beach. And the way to clean it, we had to excavate or dig out the sand at least 10 feet. And so that was a lot of work. And another thing to note is, not necessarily shown, but to the left of where I'm standing is a landfill. So can you imagine at this beach in our own Bay Area, there was all this right by the water. So at least the beach is clean, but essentially it's still not necessarily used by the public. So something to keep in mind is that with the beaches that we do have, we want to make sure that they're kept clean, make sure you pick up the trash that you see or yourselves get involved in beach cleanups. We want to protect our oceans that way. So another challenge in San Francisco is the problem of erosion. And one site I did this was at Telegraph Hill, which is where Coit Tower is. And I'm standing here in front of this hillside that is eroding because when they were building San Francisco, this hill used to be a quarry. And a quarry is basically where you can get rock material to make crushed rock, like building material. So they were blasting into this hillside to build San Francisco. And then they just stopped. And over time, the hill was left, because it was left in a very fractured state, it was over time eroding, especially during the rains, to a point where you can see the house on the hill just above it it's in a very precarious position. And rock was actually falling down this cliff, and there was a car at the bottom that got smashed. And I'm standing here on top of a 5-story building, so this is a pretty high, it's a high cliff. And what we did was we installed about 300 anchors, 30 feet into the hillside, and then secured it with secured a steel wire mesh over it so that the rocks wouldn't fall and so that the hill can be stabilized. So now we can say that this house over there is in a better situation, and we will see Coit Tower for years to come. So another thing, go back. So something to think about is think about where the source of our, think of the source of the raw materials that things that you use in day-to-day life. The source of materials can potentially cause harm to the environment, as this example shows. And I think the best way nowadays, there's options where you can buy materials that are made from used or recycled materials. That's definitely a more environmentally conscious option. And another example is my shoes here, Rothy's, are made from plastic water bottles. So that was like a decision I made to just be conscious about what things we use, what they're made from. So this is a mountain lake in the Presidio. I'm sure a lot of you have driven by it. Right along here is the Highway 1 that goes from Park Presidio up to Golden Gate Bridge. So as you're driving up towards the bridge, to the right, you'll see this lake. It's also right by the Richmond district, so you can see it. But so Mountain Lake has a pretty rough history. It was when the highway was constructed. The highway construction actually filled in some of the lake, and then over time, when the rains came, it washed a lot of the contamination or the residue from cars on the highway, washed it into the lake as well. So that was like lead and fuels. And people in the neighborhood were also dumping trash, abandoning their pet fish and turtles that they didn't want. And those unwanted pets were actually, because they were not native to this natural lake, they were pushing out a lot of the native species. So the lake habitat became unbalanced. And over time it became very polluted, it was smelly, it was a nuisance to the neighborhood, and it came to a point where we had to do something about it. So my agency, the Presidio Trust, has done a lot of work over the years to clean this lake. We've dug out all of the contaminated sediments that had washed from the highway, and we've also cleaned the water and are reintroducing the native plants and animals like turtles and fish into this lake to restore it and bring it back to a healthy state. So it's a lot better now. You can actually go out there and have a nature tour of it to learn more. And we also ask our community to take part in keeping it the way that it is. One thing that we ask is that please don't abandon your pets. It's not only sad for them, but it's also harmful for natural lake environments like this. And there's actually some future work we're doing at this lake. And as a final stage to this, all this restoration work, I'm involved with eventually having all that highway drainage go, instead of going into the lake, it's still going into the lake, there's a filter at least, but eventually having that highway drainage go directly into a storm drain system so it doesn't continue to go into the lake. And this is something that we were doing recently because there's still issues between the highway and the lake, so we're having to go in and do repairs every so often. Next slide. So this is the Presidio of San Francisco. Who's been to the Presidio? Wow, a lot of you. Awesome. There's a lot of activities there, like Disney Museum, Tracy Field, Presidio picnics, and off the grid, Baker Beach, a lot of activities. But what you don't see when you go is all of the underground infrastructure. And this is a map, and all these black lines are representative. They represent pipes underground for water, sanitary sewer, and storm drain systems. And the total length, if you were to add them all up end to end, totally would take you from like South San Francisco to Sacramento. That's about 96 miles of pipe that we have to maintain in the park to make sure that we continue to sustain all the activities and support all the activities. So, as an engineer for these systems, I also keep in mind how the system is being used. And so currently we have about 4,700 residents and employees in the Presidio. The park in total uses about 250 million gallons of water per year. And about half of that is for irrigation. 80% of the water that we distribute is actually from our own source in the Presidio. It's Lobos Creek, and it's over in the lower right corner by Baker Beach. You see there's like a river at Baker Beach. That's Lobos Creek. That's our water source. So 80% of the water in the Presidio is from our own source. But then 50% of it is used for irrigation. So that means that more than half of the water that we treat from the creek goes back into watering all the plants that was around the creek. How does that make sense? So what I'm trying to work on right now is to develop ways that we can reduce the use of potable water for irrigation. So that's on the irrigation system side, as well as develop alternate water sources for our system. And alternate water sources could be like tapping into groundwater, or bringing in recycled water, or even capturing rainwater. There's a lot of options. So one of the things I'm hoping to do is to develop a study to determine what's going to be the best fit strategically for our system. And so this is my utilities team, and I really appreciate my utility operators because they're my eyes and ears out in the field when it comes to operating and maintaining the system. They provide me the feedback on how things are working, what needs to be fixed, and together we engineer solutions for our system to keep it in a good state of repair, to keep it running well for years to come. And so in the spirit of teamwork, that's what we're going to do next, is get into groups to discuss these examples. And all these examples I've shared, the intention is to show how important it is to steward our environment, and also show examples of how the environment affects our community and quality of life. And a damaged environment is actually harmful to public health and safety. The more we can appreciate and understand our environment and how it works, the better we know how we can take care of it. So even if you don't become an engineer or anything science related, there are so many ways we can all help in any area of interest that you have. So I want you guys all to group up where you're sitting, just maybe groups of 4 or 5, and talk about some of these examples and come up with an idea, maybe from what I shared or even something that I haven't mentioned. Come up with what. Next slide. So come up with an answer to this question. What will you do to steward the environment? So we have about 5 minutes for you to talk, and then we're going to come up, maybe 5 of you groups, share. So I'm looking for maybe 4 or 5 groups to share. And so if you want to share, raise your hand. I think someone's going to come with a mic over. No? I don't know where Emily is to do that. But say your idea, and then Chloe's going to write it on this big sheet of paper. And then my friend's going to come find you and give you some Presidio swag. I brought some from. We have a lot of visitor programs, and one thing that we like to give is informational brochures and have like pins and stickers. And we also have 4 gift shops, so how could I not come without swag? So, do we have a first volunteer, like one group? Let me get from each section. How about in the back over there? Yay! What's your idea?
I think we should use paper straws for the smoothies in a snack bar in the cafeteria. Yes.
So let's write that down. So who's your to-do list? There's enough in there for all of you. So share. Yay. Okay. Can I get another idea? Let's see on this side. You have an idea? I thought I saw a hand. Yeah? In the pink shirt. Yeah. Yeah.
So you were saying that we could install solar panels.
There's an idea to install solar panels here. That's a cool idea. Can I get another group, maybe in the middle here? In the glasses? Yeah. Take shorter showers. You guys have showers here? Yeah? Okay. At the gym, right? Are you not? Alright, how about you in the front with the white sweater? Yeah.
Helping the native wildlife that already exist in our environment to make sure that they prosper and survive and keeping the ecosystem good. Helping the native wildlife.
Helping native wildlife. Are you talking about native wildlife here in San Francisco? Yeah. There's a lot, yeah. There's native wildlife in the Presidio, Golden Park. A lot of parks here have native species for protecting. Okay, I think we have one more idea. We're here.
I'm gonna
In
leave
the-
it anyway.
So I was thinking more like carpooling, because if each person's like in one car, there's more pollution. So if you have like, say like you're like families, like big families, let's just say 4. So like if they're all in one car, that's less pollution instead of having each person in their own car.
Yeah, that's a good idea to make sure that you guys can group up together, so you only have to use less cars to come to drive through. Yeah. You guys have a carpooling program here at all? No. So that's an idea you can start with. All right, so that's we got a good list here, and I guess we can go to my last slide. Are there any questions about things I've talked about or what we discussed? No questions?